in terms of this first team, the expanding force Necrozma, if you let it get into position for those expanding forces, they're going to be pretty devastating to this other side.
Especially since you got that surge helping B. That's going to be a brutal setup to get it going.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can get this Necrozma into Trick Room, it's going to be in a very good position. I mean, the Necrozma's slow, obviously. The Amoonguss is very slow. Regieleki tends to be extremely flexible with being inside or outside.
Yeah, with its speed glitching out Trick Room to the point where it's not fair.
Yeah.
At times.
Obviously, not very many protect options. The Urshifu has protect, the wide guard from the Gallade, but other than that, pretty susceptible to getting caught out.
Yeah, we do see that, and that's like one probably the difference both teams. Like the opposing team has. Go ahead.
And one of those big problems with not having the protect is this team only has one of those redirection options. Yeah, you have the follow me on the Indeedee, but no Rage Powder for the Amoonguss.
Replacing Rage Powder with Clear Smog. That's a interesting choice.
And when you're eyeing up something like this Miraidon team, you don't have to worry about the Dazzling Gleam, because instead it's that Discharge spread move, which has to be careful with its own Pokemon. But there's a lot of times where you would absolutely love Protect against some of these heavy hitters.
While this other team, this Miraidon lead, is trying to, with all these Protects, all these directions, everything like that, it wants to be able to even out the playing field a lot more.
Yeah, but one big weakness I'm seeing with this Miraidon team is the lack of actually pace control. Yeah, you have Tailwind, but you get into a position where you're in Trick Room, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Yeah, sure, maybe you have 2 Fake Out users, but other than that, no form of priority and no way to really deal with Trick Room. All right, right into the leads. Amoonguss, Regieleki for William. Fluttermane, Whimsicott for Lorenzo. Looking to get that Tailwind up early, I imagine.
Let's see how much that will help against that Regieleki. That insane speed.
That Regieleki probably faster than the Fluttermane. Inside a Tailwind.
With Tailwind, yeah. Yeah, I do believe. So we'll see how this plays out. This first run will probably determine the rest of the game.
Yeah, and it's like I do think that William has a really good position to play pretty defensively, even with the possible Mystical Fire into the Amoonguss.
Yeah.
Just a Volt Switch from the Regieleki, trying to get itself off the field as fast as possible.
Like, even without these Protects, he's able to play.
Yeah, able to just
really
switch Pokemon around
defensively in the position. Yeah.
A lot of those Pokemon on that team slower and tankier. His Gallade will fill his shoes. Moonblast, though, not gonna enjoy that. And Gallade is down 1.
And there goes Gallade. There we go. Moonblast right into the Regieleki spot, takes down that Gallade.
Fire, massive amounts of damage.
And Amoonguss barely holds on.
Sludge Bomb will take down the Whimsicott. No Tailwind for Lorenzo.
Wow. That is a great fight back from William.
Yeah, and at the start, you had to wonder if that was really the greatest idea, but maybe it wasn't so bad after all.
Yeah, not taking back that.
And this gives him the chance to send the Regieleki back out. Now that fake out pressure is active.
Yeah. And however, and without the Rage Powder, it will be interesting to see how William decides to play this.
Yeah.
However, he is in range to go down to one more Mystical Fire, but
Moongus just gonna switch
also,
out.
and he takes him out.
And it is the Indeedee. That Psychic Surge is gonna block that fake out. There's a waste of fake out this turn. Extreme Speed also blocked by the Psychic Terrain. Probably wasn't necessary. There is that Mystical Fire, the special attack drop.
Bringing Regieleki just below half HP. Now, this Regieleki is not built to be super defensive, so it cannot take hit.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if the Indeedee's gonna go for a Follow Me or a Helping Hand onto the Regieleki. And just try and just knock out one of these Pokemon this turn.
If Regieleki can secure a knockout, that balance out the game.
Is going to be the Electric Terra on the Regieleki, possibly going for a really big Thunderbolt here. Just to protect from the Flutter Mane.
Do we
Not
see
ready
that?
to leave the field just yet. Follow Me. So the Regieleki will be safe this turn. Ancient Power, that should... Not as much damage as we thought. And the Indeedee holds on from the knockoff.
Just above. Does lose that Psychic, but it's already gotten the special attack boost.
Yeah. Now this Flutter Mane just protected, so he could just... Oh, here it is. Could just target the Flutter Mane, but it's the Incineroar. Not enough. Moonblast into Regieleki, and that is going to pick up the KO.
You gotta think what would have happened for that Helping Hand Thunderbolt.
Yeah, and you have to wonder too.
Into Incineroar.
If a Helping Hand Thunderbolt would have been enough to knock out the Flutter Mane there.
But also the increase in special attack from the Mystical Fire definitely set him back a lot.
Yes, 100% did. Now this lone Amoonguss will not be able to finish this game out.
I think its fate's sealed for game one. I think for this game we have both players played really well.
And William's just going to go right back to the drawing board. I think that William really just wasn't able to get into the game after that Gallade went down on that first turn.
Yeah. Even though he did secure that knockout after that Gallade went down, it really lost a lot of footing right there.
Yeah, and I imagine he suspected it was a Tailwind instead of a Moonblast into that slot. And kicking off game two, it's the Indeedee Necrozma start from William. And the same Whimsicott Flutter Mane from Lorenzo.
Arguably William's strongest possible lead with his boosted Psychic Surge into an Expanding Force. There it is, the Psychic Surge.
And of course, he does have to be careful though of a Shadow Ball into that Necrozma spot. That would do quite a bit of damage. That obviously the Psychic Terra would still be weak to Ghost, but you would be severely mitigating that Ghost-type weakness.
While increasing that stab to 100%.
Yeah.
Here we go. That Tailwind. I wonder if he's going to go for that Trick Room.
If it is
the
Trick
same
Room,
play.
Indeed, yes.
Just like I predicted. Where Lorenzo's team gets stuck inside Trick Room with that Tailwind.
And obviously
up.
there could be the Follow Me. It would have completely mitigate this Shadow Ball. There is Tailwind.
Here it is.
From the Whimsicott. Shadow Ball, no effect on the Indeedee. And Moongeist Beam. Is it super effective into the Fluttermane? Will it be enough? Yes, it is.
And Fluttermane goes down to a crazy offense start.
Yeah,
Thought he was going to set up Trick Room, but...
And I really like that play from William.
I really do too. I predicted that Shadow Ball in a Necrozma going for that Follow Me to mitigate all that damage to then set up that Moongeist Beam.
Yeah, and I really like that play from William, using the Indeedee so effectively to keep the Necrozma safe and saving his Terra for a later time. And now, of course, the Indeedee has to be careful here, because a knockoff would be quite bad.
Indeedee can get a...
Of course, it could go for another Follow Me this turn. It would most probably get knocked out, but it would give that Necrozma just that extra bit of longevity on the field.
Most definitely.
Necrozma gonna leave the field here.
With that Tail Room
saved for later.
And Necrozma comes out.
Urshifu hits the field. It is Follow Me. Is that Indeedee gonna be in? Not gonna appreciate that knockoff. And it is. It's gonna go down to the knockoff. 3 Pokemon each.
Here's the thing. What if did set up Trick Room there?
Regieleki will hit the field. Obviously, that extreme speed is off the table, but it doesn't even need it really.
I do believe it is faster than both standing Pokemon on Lorenzo's side, even with Tailwind boosting.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Now this
Miraidon does have to be.
The Miraidon could really shake things out, but I still think that Aleki is going to be fast enough.
Yes,
it can't use its extreme speed with the Psychic Terrain up, but a switch in from the Miraidon would give that, would remove that.
You are correct. It would make it a electric terrain, which would allow that.
Field, activating that Hadron engine.
Here comes electric terrain
from William. The Urshifu gonna actually shake off that weakness to Moonblast and dish out what I imagine is a Surging Strikes. There is Moonblast dropping Urshifu just below half. And Thunderbolt
if he did not,
into Whimsicott also just under half. Surging Strikes, Terra boosted into the Miraidon is not going to be enough. But one more of those and Miraidon's down.
Honestly, a perfect play by both right there. I think both selected their best option in that scenario.
Yeah, but the speed advantage that the Regieleki has on that Whimsicott is actually very important.
Really is. That could be the winning. That could be the winning decision in this battle.
Obviously, this Regieleki probably has the chance to pick up either Pokemon here.
We do gotta be aware that now that Ursh has Terra, it is now weak to a
And
KO
there it is,
from the Miraidon.
The Urshifu gonna switch out, just keep itself safe.
How that's active.
And we will see who the Regieleki
Here comes the Necrozma.
Oh. And Necrozma gonna actually go down to that.
Wow. Who I do believe
And
lost
who
that
did the
damage roll.
Regieleki? And it is Ancient Power into the Miraidon. Not a lot of damage.
Wow.
But Tailwind ending.
That's really going to shake things up for this battle.
If this Regieleki,
Here comes back out.
The Regieleki wants to go for something like an extreme speed now. Because obviously now with that Ancient Power, it raised its attack.
Yes, and I do believe it has the possibility to KO either Pokemon.
Tailwind's going to hit the field again. This Miraidon's such a big threat. It's Thunderbolt, actually. And it's not enough. The Miraidon's going to get to swing here.
Wow. Just holding on. And the Miraidon goes to take out that Urshifu.
And I think this Regieleki is not going to be able to finish this game out alone. Although it is going to go first here. The Miraidon's down.
It will take out that Miraidon.
Can it survive a Moonblast?
That's what it comes down to.
No, it will not.
And it cannot.
And Lorenzo victorious in Heat B. I think if William had gone for a Trick Room, he would have been in a lot better of a position because those other Pokemon on his team
would have been in a way better.
Yeah, the other Pokemon on his team were just too slow to actually really get
relying on Regieleki.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was solely relying on Regieleki for that speed. And even though he could have completely overhauled that speed control.
Yeah, you have to wonder if the Indeedee should have just gone for... Yeah. If the Indeedee should have just gone for a Trick Room on that second turn there instead of a Follow Me. Because it went down kind of rather needlessly there.
Exactly. I think things might have or could have been different, but we won't know.
And you also have to think... Yeah, I mean, you bring in that Necrozma for free at the end of the round. I mean, you could try and get a Trick Room off.
We've not seen much use from it.
Yeah, you do have to be careful. There is that Electro Drift possibility still. And that is a big threat. But I think at that point, the Necrozma was a little bit more valuable than the Urshifu.
So originally, this next match was supposed to be between Will and William. However, William never showed up, so we replaced him with Estelle.
So the Terapagos is a lot tankier than it was like for actual attacking.
Terapagos is definitely his strongest option. The I don't remember what that Terra is called.
The Stellar Terra.
Yeah, if he does it at the right time, it's really good, especially against some of the other Terras like Miraidon.
I mean, yeah, the Terra Stellar, the Terra Starstorm is going to be powerful against any Pokemon, regardless of what Terra type it is.
And it's always such a strong option because there's not anything that'll resist it ever.
Yeah.
Which makes it such a strong option. But obviously, when you're looking at this other team that has the wide guard, you can't just always use that because there's the opportunity for the wide guard. One thing we never actually got to see was that Talonflame for the Tailwind.
Oh yeah, we that never came out.
Yeah, not sure actually how fast the Terapagos would be inside of Tailwind or not, but I mean against this kind of slower team, it might not even be that good. That Trick Room threat is still really big. And when it comes to this Necrozma team, that that Psychic Terrain is so important, and having that Terraform Zero on the Terapagos to get rid of that will severely weaken the expanding force threat. Obviously, there's the wide guard to try and shut down both that Dazzling Gleam and that Stellar Terra Starstorm. But with this Necrozma team, very, very little protect options. Alright, a Moongus Gallade for Estelle and Incineroar Terapagos for Wilm. That wide guard threat out there immediately.
Wilm's Intimidate is going to also begin.
That Intimidate, though, only useful on the Gallade. The Amoonguss, not really too worried about it. It's just with those two special attacks. But this could possibly make a Sacred Sword into both slots severely weakened.
See that?
And obviously, this Terra Starstorm could do heavy amounts of damage. And it is going to be a fake out into the Gallade. So much damage. The Gallade, not very much bulk, as Earth Power is going to hit into it, but not very much damage from the Terapagos. The Spore puts the Terapagos to sleep. The Amoonguss slow but powerful. And you have to now think, if you're Wilm, you do have to be careful if you're Wilm to not let this Terapagos take too much damage while it's asleep here.
Yep. The most important lesson I think Will learned from the last match was the timing for when to Terra his Terapagos. That really does decide a battle for him.
Yeah, and this wide guard has definitely shaken things up where he's thinking twice about using that Terra immediately. And there it is, the Sacred Sword into the Terapagos. Obviously that shell is going to weaken the power, but that's only for one attack. Terapagos takes one turn of sleep. Could wake up next turn. Parting Shot just going to weaken the attack of the Gallade even further.
Incineroar is being pulled out. And being swapped in with Indeedee.
Yeah, get that Psychic Terrain up. You get that Follow Me option. Try and redirect some of those attacks away from the Terapagos. Obviously, no Rage Powder on the Amoonguss. And it is Pollen Puff. Not too powerful. You have to wonder, with this Gallade being so weak, is it going to switch out and try and reset those attack drops? Yes, it is.
Oh, and there it goes.
And then a Necrozma will hit the field. It could take advantage of that Psychic Terrain
for an Expanding Force. Ice Beam drops Amoonguss just above health. Just above half health as Sledge Bomb. Oh, the poison onto the Terapagos. That Terapagos now on a timer. And Trick Room is set up. Not sure how good that will be, though, with the Necrozma on the field.
I would like to see, is Wilm going to try to Terra his Terapagos before its time runs out and get as much out of it as he can? Or is he gonna save it?
With that Gallade gone, the Terra Starstorm is a lot stronger. Like, when you have that wide guard option, you don't necessarily need to use it. Just the threat of it will usually deter most spread moves.
And there we go.
Terastallization from Wilm. That stellar Terastallization on the Terapagos.
Using Terra Starstorm could really do high damage.
Will get rid of the Psychic Terrain, so no spread move for the Expanding Force, as Indeedee will take a turn of sleep. And it was the Expanding Force. Not as strong as it would have been. Obviously that recoil damage from the Life Orb. And Terra Starstorm at Stellar boosted. Not just going to drop the Amoonguss to lower health. That poison cutting its attack significantly.
I do not see the Terapagos lasting much longer. It's low health and poison.
Yeah, and you have to now think, do you want to switch the Terapagos back out? Try and keep it alive for a little bit longer. Because, I mean, the longer it's on the field, and it is just going to swap out, the longer it's on the field, the more poison damage it's going to take. Incineroar is going to come out. Will block a potential Spore into it if that was even attempted. Obviously, the poison would have failed. As Pollen Puff just going to heal the Necrozma back up. All the way to full. As Expanding Force doesn't affect Incineroar. Not going to do too much to the Indeedee. And the Indeedee's going to wake up a reverse Trick Room here. Very good turn for Wilm.
So I think Wilm is having a bit of a rough start here with that major damage to the Terapagos and poison.
Yeah. And now this Necrozma does have to worry about a knockoff. A knockoff would be 3 times effective. Obviously that Prison Armor is going to cut that weakness a little bit, but might not be enough to keep it alive. Despite its incredible bulk. That triple weakness is pretty bad. And also, actually, both of Estelle's Pokemon are in quite the situation here. The Amoonguss is 100% going after the Indeedee, which does threaten that Psychic. And gonna take the Amoonguss down. Quite easily there. Oh, and it is the Necrozma. Gonna go next. Drops the Incineroar below half. And knockoff is enough for the KO.
Takes out.
That is a huge knockout for Wilm.
That is a major change for Wilm here.
Yeah, great comeback from Wilm. Looked kind of bleak with that Terapagos getting to such low health.
Still is now sending out Gallade and Indeedee.
Indeedee gonna set back up that Psychic Terrain. At this point, not too helpful though. Once that Terapagos hits the field again, it will get rid of it.
Estelle still has the option to Terra though, so she could do that.
That is very true, yeah. But you have to think. You do have to think though that that Psychic Terra on the Gallade would suddenly put it back into super effective range from this Incineroar. And yes, a Sacred Sword would be pretty powerful, but once that Flutter Mane hits the field, there isn't really much that the Gallade is able to actually do about it. But Sacred Sword is enough, gets rid of the Incineroar, no more Fake Out, no more Intimidate, and Psychic is going to pick up the Gallade. It's now 3-1. Not a Dazzling Gleam, not very much damage into the Indeedee. There's not very much left that Estelle can do.
Estelle could Terra, which would give a Ghost Terra, but
Ghost Terra. At this point, too little, too late. That Flutter Mane could just come in with that Shadow Ball. That would be enough.
Looks like Will is going to finish it off. Try to finish off with Terra, the Terra Storm.
Yeah, and that single target Terra Starstorm is going to be quite more. It was going to be way more damaging onto just one Pokemon. And there it is, the Terra Stellar boosted Terra Starstorm. Not a lot of damage. That Psychic Seed from the Indeedee putting in a lot of work. As Terrapagos only has one more turn on the field. Of course, that Flutter Mane should be able to do enough.
Yeah.
And obviously that using the Terra on the Indeedee would also would make it super effective against, the Terra Starstorm would now become super effective. So I think not using the Terra is the good choice there, but the Psychic Seed is just making this Indeedee so tanky. And actually Terrapagos holds on there, but Poison is going to take it out.
Whoa. There you go. Fluttermane should be able to deal with it quickly.
Yeah, a Shadow Ball should be enough
Shadow Ball.
here, yes. However, that normal typing does give that immunity to ghost typing. However, I don't think that matters too much.
Yes. One could still go with Dazzling Gleam and this Mystical Fire, which, while not being super effective, will still at least will still do 1 times damage.
That is very true. But Wilm going for the Mystical Fire, gonna lower that special attack on the Indeedee. There's that special attack drop. These Dazzling Gleams are gonna just keep on getting weaker. Only 15 damage to the Flutter Mane. This is gonna take a lot more of those.
Estelle got pretty unlucky here with Indeedee being the last one, as the only damaging move it has is Dazzling Gleam.
It's going to make this Indeedee very, very weak. Yes, it's got the special bulk. Yes, it might have that typing advantage, but those attacks are just going to... It is not doing a lot of damage. And it's such a bad scenario. You can't Terra. You gain that ghost type weakness. You don't Terra, you don't do any damage. It's just a lose-lose.
Yeah.
And the Indeedee goes down.
And there we go. That's game 1.
Game 1 goes to Wilm. Yeah, the poison from the Amoonguss actually played a really big role there. That Terrapagos wasn't doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And it was
that was definitely,
for most of it.
Estelle definitely had the advantage there at the beginning. I could see a strong advantage.
Yeah, that Trick Room being reversed was very good on Wilm's part. Was able to give Wilm that double knockout, the Psychic into the Amoonguss, and then knock off into the Necrozma, and that really sealed the game right there.
Yep.
The Gallade may be fast, but was just not bulky enough
I did saying I did not expect the Krosno to go down that quickly.
Yeah, that 3x weakness is quite powerful.
I do feel like Estelle is probably going to change their team up a bit.
Regieleki Urshifu.
Ooh.
Incineroar Terapagos, a powerful start from Estelle, but that Intimidate drop onto the Urshifu is going to be pretty important. A Surging Strikes into this Incineroar would most probably be a one-hit KO.
The Regieleki does have extreme speed, guaranteeing a first hit if used, I believe.
Yeah, the Regieleki is 100% fast enough to outspeed both of these Pokemon.
As we saw with Frago's fight with Whelm, one of the main advantages was that Whirlwind, giving him the extra speed to help him take out the Terapagos.
That is very much true, yes. And obviously a close combat here, while it would be resisted for this first hit by the Terapagos, would still do significant amounts of damage. And if it were to be doubled, that could be quite significant. The Regieleki would break that Terra Shell, and then close combat would not be resisted. But it's just going to be a fake out into the Regieleki, going to make sure it doesn't move this turn. A key threat on Estelle's team, as close combat was into the Terapagos. That Terra Shell going to weaken that significantly. Quite significantly. And obviously, Urshifu going to get those defense drops. And Earth Power into the Regieleki. It holds on. Not by a lot, but it will stick around for one more turn. And now you gotta wonder. And you gotta wonder.
Bringing Regieleki the right call.
This Urshifu has the ability to target or to really do a lot of damage to both of these Pokemon. I mean, the Surging Strikes is powerful into the Incineroar. The close combat is super effective against both. So Will has to be quite careful here. And it's going to be a tranquilization from Wilm.
Terapagos.
Once again on the Terapagos. No wide guard to deal with this turn. As Urshifu is just going to protect here. And Volt Switch, the Lucky, going to leave the field, make way for a different Pokemon.
Will Estelle bring out?
I mean, that could be best case scenario for Wilm here. That Urshifu not attacking, giving Wilm a little bit more of a chance to do some more damage, without having to worry about that Unseen Fist. Indeed. But a knockoff into this Indeedee could do a lot of damage. Psychic Seed gonna boost that special defense. Terra Starstorm blocked by the Urshifu. Not a lot of damage on the Indeedee. It's such a specially bulky Pokemon. That's a very good turn for Estelle.
Just able to save their Regieleki.
Yeah, and the Regieleki able to hold on. And that could be really important for later. That Regieleki is a key piece of this team, keeping at least some bit of speed control. We don't know how fast it is inside a Trick Room, but chances are it could be fast enough to still outspeed everything in Trick Room if its speed is high enough.
Could get off a strong Thunderbolt or an Ancient Power that could decide the battle.
Yeah, and that close combat into the Terapagos, that is going to hurt, but it is going to hold on. such a bulky Pokemon, and with that Stellar Terrestrialization, it gets such a big stat boost, and it's going to fire off an Thunderbolt into the Urshifu, and a one-hit KO on the Urshifu.
That water is my 2 times a weakness.
And that is a massive knockout there, getting rid of that key piece on Estelle's team, and knockoff going to finish off the Indeedee as well. The critical hit, would it have mattered? Not sure.
This is going to leave Estelle with Regieleki and another Pokemon.
Yeah, that Regieleki being faster could do some good damage to the Terrapagos. Obviously, the Necrozma is going to go first, but once again, has to be careful. Got 3 times weakness to the knockoff.
I think Estelle's best move is using Regieleki's speed to try to figure out a way to take out the Terrapagos.
Yeah.
And then the Necrozma focus on the Incineroar.
And a Terra Starstorm here into a Terrestrialized Pokemon is gonna do a lot of damage. Obviously, that's super effective to any Pokemon that are Terrestrialized. And you got to think, do you take the extra damage from being Terrestrialized? That Prism Armor on the Necrozma is going to weaken that. Or do you let Incineroar get another knockoff off, like what happened last game? And it's Ancient Power into the Incineroar. Not enough.
It does get it to
Terra Starstorm's going to come out. Finish off the Regieleki. Not a lot of damage on the Necrozma, but Incineroar is free to use a knockoff here. And it's gonna be enough. And Wilm
takes the victory in a 2-0 win.
Yeah, and Estelle was just so pinned down that game. Just not really able to get really into the game at all with those super effective options that that Wilm had. There was not very much that Estelle could do.
Definitely. And for once, there was more of an even playing field on the speed with this time. Even though at the end the Regieleki did have faster speed, it just was not able to get used as much as Estelle was hoping for, I think.
Yeah, and you have to wonder as well, the Regieleki holding the Assault Vest not gonna do as much damage as it would if it was holding an offensive item. You have to wonder how much of a play that that did actually end up, how much of a factor that ended up being.